Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fit and fine. So dear students, as you know that revision is going on and according to the syllabus of your revision test, uh, we are practicing the chapters. So two chapters of revision test 3.2 were discussed in last video. Let us discuss the remaining syllabus of 3.2 of revision test 3.2. Okay, revision test 3 part 2. Let us begin. This video today we will revise the remaining two poems of part 2 of revision test 3. First poem is A Tiger in the Zoo. So the poem gives a sharp contrast of a tiger. The poem provides contrast in the mood and environment of a tiger. When he is in the zoo and when he is in the forest. When it is in its natural habitat and when it is imprisoned. Let us go through the summary. This poem contrasts a tiger in the zoo with the tiger in its natural habitat. The poem moves from the zoo to the jungle and again back to the zoo. In the zoo, he has no freedom. He is kept in a cemented cell behind the bar. He feels angry, frustrated, and helpless. This reminds him of his natural habitat. He's hiding and sliding in the long grass near the water hole and pouncing upon the fat deer. The way he terrorized the villagers, displaying his sharp teeth, his claws. At night in the zoo, he hears the sounds of patrolling cars. The tiger in the zoo appears helpless as a mere showpiece and source of entertainment to people. The poet wants to convey that it is cruel to keep wild animals in small enclosures of the zoo, away from their natural habitat. They feel angry, helpless, and unhappy in the cage. He pays no attention to the visitors who come to watch him in the silence of the night. He stares at the brilliant stars with his bright eyes. So this is the summary of A Tiger in the Zoo. Now the next poem is the ball poem, which is in your syllabus of part 2 of revision test by John Berryman. Let us go through it. Introduction. This poem is written in blank verse. This poem is about losing something that you love and learning to grow up. It is about a little boy who for the first time in his young life is learning what it is like to experience grief at the loss of a much beloved possession, his ball. His beloved possession, his ball. Summary. Once a boy was playing with his ball. It was bouncing in the street up and down. The boy was happily enjoying the game. While bouncing, suddenly it fell into the water and was lost. Without the ball, the boy became full of grief. The poet said, and that there were other balls. He could purchase another since it was not a great loss. There was no need to worry, but the boy had that ball for a long time, so he was deeply grieved due to his attachment with it. It was linked to his memories. The poet thinks that it is of no use to purchase another ball. He must feel his responsibility of the loss. So it's all about the summary of the poem. Let us discuss the questions which have been asked in the examination. Let us discuss extract based questions. Read the following extracts carefully and answer the questions that follow. Question number 1. He stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his case on paths of velvet quiet in his quiet race. So this question has also been asked in 2014. Why the tiger could walk only a few steps? So the tiger could walk only a few steps because he was locked in a very small cage. How does the tiger move in the cage? So the tiger moves very slowly and quietly in a threatening way. What are the two qualities of the animal under reference? So the animal has vivid stripes on his body and soft velvet pads. Why is he in quiet race? He is in quiet race as he is locked and his freedom has been curtailed. Thus, he is unable to show his anger and ferocity. Now, stanza 2. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the water hole, where plum deer pass. Who is he here? So he has been used for tiger. Where should he be lurking? So he should be lurking in the shadow in the forest. Where should he be sliding? So the tiger should be sliding through the long grass in the forest. Who would pass through the water hole? So the plum deer would pass through the water hole. Stanza 3. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. So what does the poet try to suggest through these lines? The poet is trying to suggest that the tiger should be allowed to live in his natural habitat. Okay, that is forest. How does the tiger scare the people? So the tiger scares the people by growling at them and showing his teeth and claws. He snarls to show his anger. So why does he snarl? He snarls to show his anger and helplessness. How does he show his presence? So he shows his presence by baring his white teeth and claws. Next stanza. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his case, ignoring visitors. So what does the phrase with the single inverted comma, his strength behind the bar suggest? What does the phrase, his strength behind the bar suggest? So his strength behind the bar suggests means he has been locked in the concrete cell, so he could not utilize his power, his potential as he uses in its natural habitat. So it means that he is helpless as he is locked in a cage. What does the tiger ignore? Why does the tiger ignore the visitors? So the tiger ignores the visitors because he considers them devoid of feeling, as none of them tries to help him out from the prison. What is the tiger doing in the cage? So the tiger is moving slowly and quietly along the length of the cage. What does the expression stalking the length of the cage imply? It implies walking to and fro in helplessness. Question 5. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. What kind of voices does the tiger hear? So the tiger hears the voice of patrolling cars. So tiger hears the voice coming from the patrolling cars at night. Where does the tiger look at in the night? Where does the tiger look at in the night? The tiger looks at the brilliant stars shining in the sky at the night. What do you mean by patrolling? Patrolling means to go around an area at regular times to check that it is safe. What is the effect of the repeated use of word brilliant? The repeated use of brilliant shows the contrast. The brilliant stars are free while the brilliant eyes are inside the cage. Now, short answer type questions, 2 marks each. How does a tiger create terror for the villagers? So, the tiger creates terror for the villagers by snarling around their houses as they are situated near the jungle. He frightens them by showing his white fangs and claws. Question number 2. Leslie Norris has described some of the activities of a tiger behind the bars of its cage. Write them. Some of the activities of the tiger behind the bars of its cage includes stalking along the length of the cage, ignoring visitors, hearing patrolling cars, and staring at the brilliant stars shining in the sky. Question 3. Describe the tiger in the cage. The tiger in the cage is just a diminished form of his original self. He paces up and down in the cage restlessly. He is confined in the narrow cell and keeps staring the stars as if longing for freedom. He is helpless and draws pity for his condition. Describe the tiger in the wild. So the tiger in the wild is majestic. He is free and lies under the shades and hunts of prey. He moves near the water because food is in plenty there. Sometimes he growls and terrorizes the villagers. Question number 5. Why does the tiger express his rage quietly? The tiger expresses his rage quietly because there is nothing he can do from behind the bars of his cage. He is helpless as his strength now lies inside the cage. He is no longer free as he was in the jungle. Question number 6. Where should the tiger have been according to the poet? The poet thinks that the tiger should have been in the jungle, lurking in the shadow of big grass to prey on the deer near the waterhole. He should also be on the outskirts of the jungle, snarling around houses and terrifying villagers. Question number 7. How does the tiger make his presence and felt in the village? How does the tiger make his presence felt in the village? The tiger makes his presence felt by sharing around houses at the jungle's edge and by showing his white fangs and claws. Question number 8. What does the tiger do in the cage? The tiger is locked in a concrete cell where he can hardly take a few steps along the strength of the cage. He doesn't take any notice of the visitors who come there. With his shining eyes, he keeps staring at the bright stars in the sky. Question number 9. Why should the tiger snarl around houses at the edge of the forest? So the tiger should snarl around houses at the edge of the forest because of the following reasons. Firstly, the villagers will not disturb the peace of the forest. Secondly, they will not kill the animals for money or just for fun. Question number 10. What is the tiger doing? Why is he ignoring the visitors? The tiger is slowly and quietly moving along the length of the cage in a threatening manner. He is ignoring the visitors because he considers them devoid of any feelings. None of them thinks of releasing him from his prison. Thus, he stops taking any notice of them. Question number 11. Why do you think the tiger looks at the stars? The tiger feels very helpless in the cage. He stares with hope at the brilliant stars shining in the sky. He hopes for the day when he would be able to run free in the wild. The brilliant stars thus provides him with some sort of comfort. Question number 12. What does the poet convey through the poem? So the poet tries to expose the miserable life led by the animals in the zoo. He compares the life of the tiger in the zoo with its life at a natural habitat. The animals have the right to freedom and should be caged and should not be caged. They should be allowed to run free in the wild. Now, long answer type, value based question. Love for freedom is the natural instinct of every living being. Comment. It is rightly said that love for freedom is the natural instinct of every living being. Everyone loves freedom and does not want to live in confinement. Similarly, the tiger also longed for freedom. He was so fed up being caged that he even ignored the visitors. He took to and fro steps in the cage, as if trying to while away the time. The tiger wanted to escape his captivity. God has made all living beings equally, and thus the animals too have the right to freedom. They should not be caged. It is their right to enjoy their natural habitat. The forest, that is, the forest, run freely in the wild. We should thus respect their freedom and should not put them in the zoo. Is it right to confine wild animals into cages? Why or why not? Wild animals are meant to live in the wild. They are not meant to be caged and displayed in the zoos. We all know that the majestic species of tiger is on the verge of extinction. There used to be a time when they used to roam proudly and freely in the jungle. They are not meant to live a life of confinement. They also have the right to freedom like all other living beings. Confinement leads to depression and misery. Moreover, their offsprings lose the hunting capabilities as they are not trained to hunt in the wild. As a result, they would not be able to feed themselves. Furthermore, confining wild animals disturbs the whole ecological balance. We should thus let the animal run free in the wild. They belong to the forest and did not to the cage. Okay, dear students, so it's all about it. Now let us discuss some more questions. Then we will be discussing questions from the ball poem. The same questions can also be asked in this form. Freedom is a birthright. It is the most beautiful gift of God. It is valuable for all human beings as well as for creatures. Discuss with the reference to the poem A Tiger in the Zoo. Freedom is the most beautiful gift of God. Freedom is a birthright. Without freedom, all is in vain. Since the man has come on his earth, he tries to enslave the weaker sections for his own selfishness. If a bird lives in a golden cage, it cannot become happy. It loves to fly freely in an open sky. In the same way, if a man lives in a prison and gets everything, he cannot feel happiness. But if a man lives freely, he will be happy even in poor conditions. In this poem, we find the descriptions of two tigers. One is in the cage and the second is in the open field, forest. There is a great contrast between their behavior. Human beings use animals for entertainment, for their selfish ends, and for recreation. What are your views about exploitation of animals described with reference to the poem A Tiger in the Zoo? So you can take the screenshot and read the answer, then you can rewrite in your own words. The answer which are being shown, only you should go through them, then rewrite them in your own words. Okay, don't mug up them. They are just sample answers. Okay, try to write better answer than are being shown. Some animals are becoming extinct. The tiger is one such animal. What do you think could be the reason? Should this trend of its decreasing population be stopped? Why? Okay, so these are the questions and their answers. Take the screenshot and then rewrite them in your own words. In the next video, we will discuss the next poem. So, thank you, students, for watching this. See you tomorrow.